What if I told you your retirement window is already closing? Not in a scary way. Not to send you into a panic. But because the truth, the real, honest truth, is the one thing nobody sits you down and tells you when you pick up that retirement plaque and shake your boss's hand for the last time. Here it is. If you retire at 65 and live to 85, you've got 1,000 weeks. Sounds like a lot, right? A Sunday afternoon sounds like a lot too, until it's 6 p.m., and you're wondering where it went. Now subtract the weeks you'll spend recovering from that hip surgery. The weeks that winter keeps you inside. The weeks of doctor's appointments, fatigue, the slow mornings that start creeping in around 72, 73. You're not looking at 1,000 weeks of full, vibrant, get-up-and-go living. You're looking at maybe 500. 500 weeks. You can feel how small that number is, can't you? That's the window. And the question isn't whether it's short. It is. The question is what kind of life you build inside it. Because the window is real, but the life? That's your choice. And I'm going to show you exactly how to make it big. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Gary. 35 years in corporate America, sales manager, then regional director, then VP of something nobody outside the building fully understood. Gary had a vision board. Literally, a vision board on his home office wall with a photo of the Grand Canyon taped right in the center. He was going to hike the South Rim. He told his wife every Thanksgiving for the last decade of his career. When I retire, we're going to Arizona. Gary retired at 67. And you know what happened? The first month he stayed home and decompressed. The second month he started watching the news, all of it, every channel, flipping back and forth like something important was about to happen that he couldn't miss. By month 6 he had a favorite recliner and a standing takeout order from the Chinese place on Route 9. The Grand Canyon photo is still on the wall. He walks past it every day. Here's the thing about Americans. We are the greatest planners on the planet and the most reluctant starters. We plan the trip but never book the flight. We buy the golf clubs but never sign up for the lesson. We say, in the spring, until spring becomes fall, and fall becomes, maybe next year. The window doesn't slam shut all at once. It closes one skipped Monday at a time. One tomorrow at a time. And before you know it, you look up and 3 years have passed and the photo is still on the wall, and your knees are a little worse than they were and you're thinking, maybe we'll do a shorter hike. Don't be Gary. Here's the biggest misconception about retirement. And I wish someone had straightened me out on this earlier. Retirement is not about time. You've been trading time for money your whole career, and then suddenly you have all the time in the world and you don't know what to do with it. That's the wrong frame. Retirement is about energy. Most retirees have about 4 to 6 hours of real peak energy per day. That's the window within the window. The hours when your mind is sharp, your body cooperates, and you actually feel like doing something. For most people, that's the morning. The rest of the day is maintenance, eating, resting, recovering. That's not a complaint, that's just biology. The mistake most American retirees make? They burn those peak morning hours on cable news, social media scrolling, and talk shows. They save the good stuff for later, and later never comes at full power. Think of it this way. You wouldn't fill up your car with premium gas and then idle it in the driveway all morning. Don't burn your best hours on nothing. Protect your mornings like a meeting with your most important client. Walk, garden, call your grandkids, work on your project, cook something that takes all morning. That's your prime time. The afternoon is for errands, light reading, TV. The evening is for rest and reflection. Once you learn to structure your energy instead of your time, everything changes. I'm going to say something uncomfortable, and I want you to hear it without getting defensive. Some of you are hoarding money and it is quietly destroying your retirement. You spent 40 years putting money into a 401k. You finally have the most financial security you've ever had in your life. And now you're eating the same thing every week because you don't want to waste money on a nice dinner. I've seen it happen. The man who keeps his thermostat at 62 in January because, you know what they charge for heating oil? The couple who won't fly to see their grandchildren because flights are too expensive now. They have $400,000 in savings. They are not going to run out of money. They are going to run out of time. Here's what I want you to understand. Money is a tool. The tool is supposed to build something: experiences, memories, comfort, generosity. If the tool just sits in the drawer untouched, what good is it? You didn't save for 40 years so that the number on a bank statement could be the legacy of your retirement. Do this. Sit down and calculate your joy budget. The amount you can spend each month on actually living without threatening your security. That trip to see your sister in Phoenix. That dinner at the nice steakhouse for your anniversary. Those concert tickets for you and your grandson. And when you're lying in that hospital bed someday, I promise you the thought you'll have is not, "Thank God I kept that extra $50,000 in savings." It'll be, "Remember that week we spent in Charleston?" Use the money. That's what it's there for. Here's something that nobody warns you about before retirement. In America, we introduce ourselves by what we do. "Hi, I'm Tom. I'm in insurance." "This is Linda. She's a nurse." Our career isn't just a job, it's the foundation of our identity. And when it disappears overnight, a lot of people don't know who they are anymore. The first 3 weeks of retirement feel like freedom. No alarm, no commute, no performance reviews. It's glorious. And then around month 2 or 3, the open space starts to feel less like freedom and more like emptiness. I've watched strong, capable, successful people go quiet in that emptiness. Within a year, they're barely leaving the house. You need an anchor. Something that makes you feel like you can still make things, still contribute, still matter. And I don't care what it is: woodworking in your garage, growing tomatoes, coaching Little League, volunteering at the food bank, writing your family history, teaching someone to fish. Something where you use your hands or your mind or your heart, and time disappears when you're doing it. The window is short. Fill it with something that proves you were here. Not for anyone else, for you. Because when you're making something, you're not just passing time. You're remembering who you are. When you're working, your social world is built into the structure of your day. You've got coworkers, clients, the guy at the coffee cart who knows your order. You've got reasons to talk to people, reasons to leave the house, reasons to be part of something. Retirement takes all of that scaffolding away. Overnight. And suddenly it's just you and your spouse staring at each other across the kitchen at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, thinking, "Were we always this quiet?" American retirees are more socially isolated than any previous generation, and it's a health crisis that nobody talks about enough. Social media gives the illusion of connection, likes and comments and reaction emojis. But it doesn't replace the feeling of sitting across from another human being who is actually listening to you. You need two kinds of connection. Deep connection, your spouse, your family, your close friends, the people you share real experiences with. And casual connection, the neighbor you wave at, the person from your walking group, the acquaintance from church or the community center. Research shows these casual, weak ties are just as important to your well-being as your close relationships. They keep you tethered to the wider world. Join the thing. Take the class. Show up to the potluck even when you'd rather stay home, especially when you'd rather stay home. Because here's the truth, comfort is a warm couch. Connection is what makes you feel alive. And the world gets very small very fast when you stop going out into it. Here's something fascinating that neuroscience has confirmed. New experiences make time feel longer. Not in the moment, but in memory. When you look back on a month where you tried new things, it feels rich and full and distinct. When you look back on a month where every day looked the same, it's gone. Vanished. You can't even find it in your memory because there's nothing to hold on to. Routine is retirement's silent thief. When every day is the same chair, same shows, same route to the grocery store, same conversation, the years collapse into each other like a deck of cards. You look back and can't tell 2023 from 2025. It's all one long Tuesday. The fix isn't a bucket list trip to Europe, although that's wonderful if you can do it. The fix is smaller and more consistent. One genuinely new thing per month. Not a new TV show, something that uses a different part of your brain or body. A cooking class. A hike on a trail you've never been on. A conversation with someone completely different from you. A drive to a town an hour away just to walk around. A museum you've driven past 100 times and never gone inside. When you go to bed that night and think, I didn't expect today to go like that. That's the feeling. That's what makes a month real. That's what gives each month its own color, its own taste. The months you tried something new, you'll remember them. The months you didn't, they're already gone. I'm going to give you the simplest, most underused tool in retirement. Write things down. 3 lines a day. That's it. You don't need a fancy journal. Your phone's notes app works. A voice memo works. Even a text you send yourself works. 3 things. What happened today, what made you smile, what you're grateful for. Do it before bed. It takes 2 minutes. In 5 years, you'll have proof that you lived, not just existed. The small moments that would have vanished completely. The afternoon your granddaughter said something that made you laugh until you cried. The walk where the light hit the lake just right. The phone call that went longer than expected and left you feeling warm. Those moments are your life. Write them down before they disappear. And here's the hidden benefit. When you know you're going to write about your day, you start looking for the parts worth writing about. You pay more attention. You listen harder to what your son is telling you on the phone. You taste your food instead of just eating it. The journal doesn't just record your life. It makes your life richer, because you're finally watching it happen. Once a month, sit down with a cup of coffee and ask yourself 4 honest questions. What brought me real joy this month? What drained me or felt like a waste? Am I using my peak hours on things that actually matter to me? And this one is important. What have I been putting off that I keep telling myself I'll do next month? A ship that's off course by 1 degree doesn't notice for a while. But give it enough ocean and it ends up in the wrong country entirely. These monthly check-ins are your course corrections. Small adjustments that prevent big regrets. Without them, December arrives and you genuinely cannot remember what you did in March. With them, you catch the drift early, before the recliner becomes your permanent address. I want you to close your eyes for a second and picture two people. The first person has the same routine every single day. Same chair. Same remote. Same rotation of shows. The years blur together. They can't tell 2023 from 2025 because nothing made one day different from the next. They look back and see a long, gray stretch of time that they were present for, but not really in. The second person tried one new thing a month. Protected their morning hours. Calculated a joy budget and used it. Found an anchor activity that made time disappear. Joined something, showed up somewhere, let someone in. Used a few minutes each night to write it all down. They look back and see a life in full color. This month was the road trip to Vermont. That month was learning to make sourdough. That month was their granddaughter's first soccer game and the diner after with hot chocolate and terrible jokes. Both of them had the same 500 weeks. The window was the same size. The difference was what they built inside it. Right now, today, this moment, the window is open. The question isn't whether you have time. You have time. The question is what you're doing with it. Don't tell me your answer. Tell yourself. And then get up and go do it. The window is short. But the life inside it? That's entirely up to you. Make it big.